All right, so Mastodon has just come out with an EP. Mm-hmm. They also came out with an album this year. So
I guess this is maybe just the extra stuff from the album. I don't know.
Yeah, so, well, it's not, and we'll get to that in a minute. But this is Mastodon's Cold Dark Place. It came out on the 22nd of September, and we're just now getting to it because we wanted to do a couple EPs, maybe to throw in every now and then.
Yeah.
It's going to have another release in the 27th of October when they're going to release it on a 10-inch vinyl instead.
Cool.
So that's really cool. So we'll see that.
Vinyls are neat.
Vinyls are neat. They're all plastic and whatever. Anyway.
I wouldn't own any.
Huge vinyl collection. All right, so it starts off with North Side Star. All right.
North Side Star.
Yeah, North Side Star. What did you think about this? So you...
yeah, so I've never listened to Mastodon before. You, on the other hand, have listened to several Mastodon
I've listened
albums.
to most of their albums, and I have them all on my iPod. So before when we said we weren't prog people, I like some prog, like, of course, Russian Mastodon and all that.
I generally dislike prog a lot.
Okay. But
so the thing is, my preconceived notion was that Mastodon was a progressive metal band.
They range in tone.
When I listened to this album, my first thought is I'm like, okay, it starts acoustic. I'm like, when's it gonna get heavy? And it never does, because this album is not metal.
Well, it's not an album. This is an EP.
This EP is not metal.
Yes, I would say this is a lot of prog alt rock.
Well, we'll get to when the album as a whole, I guess. But the song, my first thought was that I really don't like the vocal tone.
Well, yeah, see, a lot of people have a problem. I said it happens a lot in this album. There are 3 vocalists in Mastodon. And the one you probably don't like is
all of them.
Brent Hines. The sort of you described it as Zach Wilde-esque sort of honky southerny.
Well, vocal. That one I don't like, and the guy whoever starts out this song is kind of like really kind of whiny and the vocals are mixed really there's tons of reverb and shit. And it's really far back, and it just sounds like the vocalist is 10 miles away in a cave.
That's Mastodon. If you listen... Alright, so my favorite Mastodon album so far is Blood Mountain. And that's how they sound. That's their singing tone.
Maybe.
And someone's going to call us out and say, that's absolutely not their singing tone. How dare you say
Whatever.
that? But this song, I really like. I thought it was good. It was the longest song on the EP at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. There are 4 songs on this EP, and it's 22 minutes long. So... I thought with that sort of acoustic-y, sort of alty sound, it was very haunting and spooky almost.
Yeah, I called it kind of for that reason kind of grungy, because it was just kind of the soft kind of off feeling. I really love there's in the chord progression of the verse or the first couple minutes, it is just a 4-chord progression, but it's does this really interesting interval that is kind of oh, that interval's unexpected, but it's nicely unexpected.
Yeah, no, well, speaking of unexpected, it's interesting how the beginning of the song is very low energy, it's very soft, like I said, it's very sort of haunting, sort of alt-rock to acoustic sound. And then at about 3-ish minutes in, it kicks it up majorly and gets some guitar leads in there and has a wicked sick classic rock meets prog solo.
I said so my thought on the solo and the beginning of the song is that it reminds me of Santana. Maybe that's just me, but I totally
You're probably not going to find anyone who agrees with you on that.
I feel like if Santana were to put a solo in the song, it would fit right in.
You think so?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe I just feel like it kind of had a Spanish vibe at the end.
Oh, I will say, okay, this EP does, with the acoustic guitar implemented in some of these sort of different time signatures, there is a bit of a sort of southwestern sound to quite a bit of this EP. And we'll get to it in a bit. But, this, like I said, there was a sweet classic rock meets prog solo, which was mixed too quietly. And the problem with this album altogether, and a lot of the stuff when I listen to proggy stuff, is
it's all... Well, this album, at least, I feel like is all mixed at the same level. The vocals blended into the guitars, and I feel like the guitars blended into each other. And maybe that's a good thing, because it all, it's like a choir when you have a bunch of different voices blending together to make one unified sound. I can kind of see that, where all the instruments are blending together. But then... if you want to listen to one instrument in particular, is really challenging. Yes,
well, and I think it kind of the end of the song, which is another the end of the song is a really long outro solo, and I think this it sounds country rock-ish at first, which is weird because it does like the brownie thing, and it does that thing where everything is just so loud up together that the outro solo, you can definitely hear it, but it's all the same tone and it's kind of fuzzy. It's hard to focus on Mastodon songs. It's hard to pick out something individual and really listen to it.
And this faster section at the end, I almost feel like it kind of ruined the mood of the previous part, because the previous part was kind of like something you'd like lay down and feel sad to.
Something to die to.
Yeah, like you'd like lay down and just be like, gonna let this music wash over me. And then the like rockin' part comes in and you're like, oh, I gotta sit up now. Like I wasn't ready for that emotion.
Well, I kind of agree with you, but when you're listening to prog, you kind of have to expect that.
You have to expect the unexpected.
Whoa. Speaking of Walsh, though, the next song is Blue Walsh.
The Blue Walsh.
It did not leave me feeling blue.
It was the most upbeat song. I'd say this one or the next one.
This one, I would say the next one is, but this one, it's interesting. It starts off with this really sort of funky, groovy guitar lead. It's like, and I almost, and the drum goes, I expected it to be like lots of energy, really fast, sort of a groovy rock thing going on. But then the verse vocal comes in, and this is probably my least favorite vocal on the album.
I agree. I wrote, singer is not very strong, or if he is a good singer, it's obscured by all the effects.
Well,
you can't really tell if he's a good singer or not, because it's just like, you know?
I'm sorry, what is it?
Shut up.
So, yeah, I said that the problem is, like, there's some great, like I said, that intro, sort of groovy, that guitar is still going on in the verse, but you can't hear it because the vocal is very floaty and melodic and kind of overwhelming with all that delay and reverb on. It's just so loud and echoey.
It's like you're standing in a cave.
An underwater cave. It's weird. And that was my problem with this, is there's a lot of really cool guitar work going on underneath where you can't hear it.
Yeah. The plus side of the vocals, though, is that the words were a little more intelligible than the previous song.
Yes, I would definitely say this song is very much, while the guitar, you can't understand it in this song for the first half, the vocals is very listenable, I guess, comparatively. But then, like, the song, like, totally changes.
About 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
At about 3:30.
This lead cuts right through the mix. Like, it was, like, designed to cut right through to the front. And
which is good, given the, like, kind of mixed over, like, mush that it generally is.
Yes, I said that some of the riffs are extremely muddled, are my exact words. But no, the guitar solo rips through and the song, like, speeds up to, like, I don't know if it's double time or...
It's not quite double.
1.5 time,
it's
whatever.
Faster.
Yeah, and it's, like, the guitar tone changes, the song changes, they get one of the other singers in there.
About... You know, for about 45 seconds, it's a different song. It's like they didn't want to just have a 45-second song, so they just kind of were like, oh, here's a stopping point in this song, let's just put it right there. Yeah,
and so it becomes like, I said this is the heaviest, like this middle 45 seconds is the heaviest part of the whole album.
Yeah, and it's rocking.
And it's great, yeah. I would like to see more of this, which is why I like, you know, the earlier albums like Blood Mountain and stuff, because it's got some heavier stuff in there, but... So I really thought that this bridge section could have just been the whole song altogether.
I feel like the song was kind of limp. And
when it goes back to the outro, it's extremely kind of boring and muddled and
limp.
Hard. Yeah, well, yeah. I just, all in all, Blue Walsh, like I said, it didn't leave me feeling blue because it was definitely interesting and fun and had that switch up in the middle that really, like after Northside Star, which is kind of slow, like it really kind of like kicked me up for, oh yeah, all right, let's get some movement, which leads very well into the next song, Toe to Toes.
Toe to Toes.
I did not have to go toe to toe and fight this song at all. This song is great. I really like this song.
Yeah, it's got like... So it starts off with this cute little acoustic riff for a couple seconds.
It adorably acoustic. This is something that's really adorable on the album. It's weird to think about how cute it is.
And then I feel like the actual riff, while heavier, was also kind of cute. Because it was like kind of major.
Yeah. Well,
kind of major.
This whole song is like a rising major. This song is extremely major. It's rising, it's supportive, it's hopeful, it's proud, even though it's... I'm pretty sure this is the one about selling your soul to the devil or something like that.
If that is what it's about, that's how we interpreted it.
Yeah.
Well, and I like how... so one of the lyrics is like, when we ran in circles, and I feel like the riff is very like it feels circular.
Yes, no, this is an extremely flowing. This whole song flows extremely well. There's not a lot of in a lot of prog songs you'll notice there's a hard cut between sections, which there is in this song. Between the verse and the chorus riff, because the verse riff with that fast little beat is
and then this like right after that this sick like alt rock chords.
It's this very sort of it's like a Foo Fighters-y sort of just classically alt rock sort of basic chordal song.
Yeah, but that riff only happens like I think it only repeats once, or twice, but it's there for like 2 seconds to lead into the chorus. And then disappears. But it's just this song is so. I would say this song for a prog rock or prog metal album EP even. This is very approachable. This song is a song I would show if someone's like, oh, I don't trust prog. It's too heavy. It's too fast. It's too complicated. I would show them this and be like, hey, this is by Mastodon and they are super prog. And I just love the way, we said that the verse riff and the intro is very cute and adorable. I love that it's countered with the vocal that's like, I've seen this before. He's very angry sounding. And I think it's very manly, too.
Yeah, this whole song feels like some guy's facing his inner demons. And it feels like that struggle.
But he's like hopeful about how it's going to turn out.
Absolutely. The song is full of hope, especially the solos, which are just basically like really fast rising scales sort of things, which are just getting higher and higher. And this,
I said that the solos were a little, or at least solo 1 was a little like non-distinctive. Like it didn't stick in my memory very well. And then solo 2, like at least the first half of solo 2, like where it started was too much in the same register as the rhythm guitar. So it got a little like. It's hard for me to discern lead and rhythm apart in the first half of the solo just because they were in the same, like, sonic space. But then once it got into the higher register, it was like, oh, okay, got this now.
Well, this is one of the best examples I've ever seen of a solo really fitting the vibe of a song. Like, nothing sticks out about this.
Except for the next song. But
oh, yeah, well, we'll get to the next song. But no, this whole song is super happy, super fun, and I actually really, really loved it, except the lyrics, which are sad. But it's really awesome despite that. Well, not even despite that. It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a very nice song.
Just like the next song, which is kind of funny because it's totally the opposite, because we're going to A Cold, Dark Place. Cold, Dark Place. Did it leave you in one?
It did not. It was a lovely song. But lovely in the... It's a song about heartbreak.
It's a song where you might even say nothing else matters except your heartbreak, right?
I could see that. I thought it was very similar in feeling to the first song.
Speaking of, now that you said that, I was going to bring this up. The first song, so Northside Star, Blue Walsh, and Cold Dark Place are all tracks that were written for their 2014 album, which is why they all have that sort of same floaty feel, in my opinion, from Once More Around the Sun. It was 2014. And then Toe to Toes was written for Emperor of Sand, which was the 2017 album. So that's why Toe to Toes sounds so different to all the rest of these, I would say.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So you were saying?
This song is really lovely, like, because it's got, like, this Western lone cowboy.
Right, I said that too. I was like...
sadness.
Anyone who's read the Dark Tower series knows this sort of, like, walking through the desert alone, fit to face down your demons in black.
Yeah. And this is, like, you've left this, or you and this, like, woman that you realize you're not meant for have left each other, and now you're just a sad, lonesome man, like, trying to come to terms with that. And you're, like, sitting there with your guitar, like...
Well, it's interesting, because it's kind of like a mutual thing, because he says in the song, like, I reached out to touch... Well, I'm saying, it's interesting, because usually, like, love songs are like, you left me and I hate you, or I left you and you should hate me.
The song is more just we had to part ways.
I reached out to touch you, but you weren't there. You reached out to hug me, but I was already gone. And I was like, that's horribly sad. But no, when I said Nothing Else Matters, I mean, the intro to the song reminds me a lot of the beginning of Nothing Else Matters, because this is in 3/4 time.
Yeah. It's just an arpeggiated 3/4 sort of
it's an waltz, and it sounds very much that of Nothing Else Matters, and I just thought about that for a second while I was listening to this. And if you're like me who likes Metallica, you'll hear it too. But it definitely moves much more beyond that.
Yeah,
it does do something interesting at about 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah, it kind of changes tempos. At first, I thought it was a change of time signature, but it's not. It's just a
it also becomes
change in feel. I think it uses
uses more major keys, I would say.
triplets, I think.
Yeah, it's for me, it was a really odd shift.
It's an odd shift, but I think it was, like, it's almost a thing you have to do as, like, a prog band is, like, have some sort of not off-putting, but, like, some sort of off-kilter shift in the middle of your song. But I think this one worked. Well,
yeah, no, like I said, this song, I would say, is the best piece to piece, verse to chorus, everything, best structured song on this EP. All the rest kind of clunk from one to the other. Like, that just happens when you're switching time signatures and you're switching speeds. They kind of shift gears.
Yeah.
Whereas this one kind of just flows, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But it's all becomes the best song ever at about 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Before we get there, though, I was just going to say one thing about the vocals, is that I have very mixed feelings about the vocals on this song, because it sounds kind of like Zakk Wylde is trying to sound like Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
But, like...
No, that's totally right.
And is, like, 10 miles away.
When you listen to more Mastodon, you'll see that, like, a lot of it kind of sounds that way, but that's Brent Hinds and all their voices all together.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's how I felt about the vocals, and I don't know if that's a positive feeling. Even though I love Zakk Wylde and I love Chris Cornell, but I don't know if those two, like, vocal
They shouldn't have a baby together.
Mix very well. But anyway. That's one of my few misgivings about this song.
But the misgiving about the song is totally overpowered by the last minute of this song, which
there's a wonderful, like, there's a great vamp, like, towards the end of the song. You're like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Yes, and then it just becomes this. At first, it's this awesome slow jam, like, wah, wah. I'm doing nothing else matters. But it's this great sort of like, wah, wah, wah. It's this awesome sort of pentatonic-y, whatever, slow. That's so groovy. In the background is this really head-banging riff that's awesome and heavy. And
I wouldn't say headbanging, but more like,
your whole body grooves with it. And it's the best part of this album, hands down.
Yeah, the solo is
amazing. And it goes from that epic slow jam, and over time it's like, we're adding a few more trills, we're adding a few triplets here, we're adding a few taps here.
But the thing is, it doesn't get too shreddy, because that's my problem with a lot of, like, bands with extremely talented guitarists who try and do slow ballad songs, is that the solo just gets too many notes in it, and it's like, no, if your song's a ballad, your solo needs to have emotion, and you need some sustains, and this solo has that.
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
It goes from that slow power jam to these really fast, sweet, like, classic sort of... I said it kind of mixes pentatonic-y kind of stuff that you would expect from, like, a classic rock jam, and almost sort of neoclassical, classical guitar style stuff. And the classical guitar style stuff is what keeps it from becoming too sort of, like, ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, because it stays in that waltz feel, that lullaby dance sort of.
Yeah, this feels like the best dance ever.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yep. So yeah, this is a short EP, only 4 songs. Like, there's not too much to say about it. We just wanted to throw around this. I don't think I have to ask, but what is your favorite song from this?
Definitely Cold Dark Place. It definitely portrays the feeling it's trying to portray of heartbreak and longing, and that guitar solo kicks ass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say my favorite song, if you cut out that solo, then my favorite song is Toes to Toes, because it's just got that unique sort of, like, powerful, empowering, awesome, big building up feel. But because of the solo and the way it fits with the waltz so well, Cold Dark Place is the best song on this album.
It's a great song.
What's the worst song?
That's really hard to say, because I was surprised at how much I like this album.
Really?
Like, especially when it started out really slow, and I was kind of like, oh, I thought Mastodon was metal. Like, this isn't metal at all. Yeah. I was kind of disappointed at first, but then as I accepted it for what it was, I was like, actually, I really like this, and it kind of fits with the, like, slow alt stuff that I like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. This album is very alt prog rock.
Yeah.
I will say my least favorite was Blue Walsh, because that really overpowering, echoey vocal where you couldn't hear the guitar underneath. That's just...
And I might be inclined to agree with you, because it did have that section that, like, didn't fit in at all, in my opinion, and the vocal was weird, but I still liked it. Yes.
This is a great EP. And we're not going to scale rate it, because scale rating EPs is silly.
Yeah.
But it's really good, and you should go listen to this, because it only takes 22 minutes. Like, it took you that long to watch.
You spent that long watching this review.
So, Mastodon's Cold Dark Place came out 22nd September, is going to be back out again on vinyl in 27 October. by Reprise Records, and yeah, we thought it was pretty darn awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's a critic, and so are we. Bye-bye.